Okay, hi guys. So today I'm going to be going over how I created this YouTube template in Canva. This is a YouTube intro and outro template, and I'm going to show you how you can create something like this or something similar for yourself. So stick around and let's get started. Alright, so first we're going to go to a blank slide, of course, so we can start from the beginning. To find the YouTube intro template, you want to make sure you log in. You go over here to create design, and then you'll scroll down until you find YouTube intro, or you can just type it up in the search bar if you don't see it. And you want to click on YouTube intro just to make sure that you have the right measurements that fits within YouTube. So since you already have ours pulled up, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to start with is the Miss Aaliyah J text box that you saw in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and press T on my laptop and a text box will appear. So I'm going to type in Miss Aaliyah J. And now we're going to adjust the font and the size. So first I'm going to start with the size. This font size was 107. And then I'm going to go in and change the font to Malibu Ring. Let's slide this up a little bit so it's centered correctly and it looks how we want it to look. Okay, so we have that set, and now we are going to go ahead and add our animation. So you want to click on your text and you want to make sure that this has the purple rectangle outline around it to let you know that it's ready for you to add your effects or your animation to it. So we're going to click on animate up here, and the animation I chose for this text was typewriter. And I kept the settings as the default settings Canva already had set. I didn't change anything. Alright, so we have that set up, and the next part of this element is to add the correct timing to this frame. And to do that, you are going to either click on these three dots and go down to show timing, which will be available to you if you're using your cell phone or a device that's not a laptop, so maybe like your iPad, and you don't have a keyboard to use the mouse. But I'm on my laptop, so I'm just going to make sure, again, that box is highlighted because this is what we want to edit. So let me go ahead and get started on that. So I'm going to right click on my laptop, and then I'll go down to show timing. And the show timing element, if you guys are not familiar with it, it just helps elements to appear on the screen at different times that you would like. So right now you see this purple bar down here, and this is just showing that this font appears on the screen throughout the whole 3.1 seconds of this first clip. But we want to change that. We want to shorten it. We want it to come in a little later in this first clip. So what you're going to do is click on the outside of this purple box, and you're going to drag it inwards to the right until you adjust the timing how you want it. So for this font, I did 2.1 seconds, and then it lasted for the rest of this clip. So it comes in really quick and it disappears really quick because this is only a 3.1 second clip. So we have that set to 2.1 seconds to 3 seconds for this text box here. As you can see, now we have this blank space, and we're going to use that for our initials A and J. So let's go ahead and start those as well. So let's click on the outside. We're going to click text box again. And this time we have a different font. So we're going to change this to Libre Baskerville. So we're going to click that. We're going to change it to Libre Baskerville. And we're also going to change the sizing because we want the initials to stand out more. And we want them to be big and not appear small since they are initials. So for this text box, I used 294. Alright, so let's just put in the A so that way we can see the whole box. So this is the whole box and we chose capital letters. So we want this to be a little off centered because when we add the J, that'll be centered. So don't worry about it looking stacked over the Miss Aaliyah J because like I said, this text box will appear at its own timing. So as you saw in the video, when you go play it, it won't be jumbled up and stacked on top of the other text. So now we're going to duplicate our A, which we do that by clicking this plus sign, and we're going to create our J. So let's put J. Oops, it didn't erase. Let's put J. Let me move this over and make some changes. I kind of want to get this centered a little bit. Okay, so the J is centered, so let's move our A over a little bit. Actually, no, because that's not how I had it in the demo. Yeah. So just got to play with it until you get it lined up looking how you want. Alright, that's fine. We're just going to leave it as is. It might not be exactly accurate of how I had it in the demo. Let's just take a look and kind of see and eyeball it. Okay, so we have the A going over a little bit over the center. So that's kind of, so you know what? Another thing you can do for this to get things lined up how you want is click on File, View Settings, and then you'll go into Show Rulers and Guides. And then you'll just drag over the line. So this is the center of the page. Okay, so the A is lined up where we want it because as we saw, it was going over the center line just a little bit in the demo clip. Okay, so that's perfect. It's the way we want it, so let's go ahead and move these lines. Sometimes you just gotta play around with it until everything looks exactly how you want it to look. Let me make sure I didn't disrupt it. Okay, so now we're gonna change the color. And we use red for our initial letters. And the red we use is already in Canva, so you don't have to go and find your own color palette and do any of that. It's already available to you. And I use this red because I like the way it stood out over the black. So we have that done. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our animation. So for the letter A, the animation I chose was wipe. And again, I kept the settings to the default settings that's already set in Canva. I didn't change anything. And now for the letter J, I chose drift. And again, we have those default settings. So now that we have our animation, we have our color, we have the correct font and sizing, we are going to go ahead and add in the timing that we want this to appear. So we know that this Miss Aaliyah J text comes in later in this clip. As you can see, the toggle bar down here is showing you where that starts at. And then we're left with the rest of this space. And that's where we're going to use it for our letters. So I'm just going to click on the letter A, hold down Shift, and click J. So they're both highlighted because I want them on the same timing. And the timing that I used for those initials were from the beginning to the 2.1 second clip. So let's go ahead and just say it again. Right click on your computer, click show timing, and then you want to bring it right at 2.1 seconds because this is where our second text will appear. So as you can see, it's on the screen by itself right now. And then we're going to play the whole clip so you can see how that effect actually works. So let's start. We have our A and a J, and then Miss Aaliyah J pops up. So that's how we want it to look. So we have our text box done. And now we'll move on to the photo grid. So you'll go over here, you'll click on Elements, and then you want to type in photo grid. Okay. It's not coming up. Okay, maybe just type in grid. Yeah, sometimes with Canva you'll notice you have to really be specific on what you're looking for. But anyway, so now we have our photo grid. I used the 2-box photo grid, and I kept the spacing on this slide. I didn't mind it for this slide. So now I'm going to go to my uploads. Just a key point, you want to make sure whatever device you're using, you have your photos saved there that you want to use for your YouTube intro or outro so that you can easily upload them through Canva using whatever device you're on. So let me scroll down and find these photos. Okay, so I used this photo and I put that in both of the frames. And then what I did was, you want to make sure you click, you see these white circles, you want to make sure you just click on one of those so that way all 4 corners of this frame is highlighted and you're making the adjustments for the whole entire photo frame and not just one of the photos. So we're going to adjust the transparency, and for the transparency I use 52. And the reason why I like to decrease the transparency is just because when using certain fonts, it makes them stand out more, and that's what we want, especially for our black font. It kind of got lost in the picture with the picture being at its full transparency. Alright, so we have our photos, we have our text all set up. I am going to refer back to the original demo just to make sure that I covered everything and I'm not leaving anything out. Just to make sure. Okay. So, as you can see, the photos last on the screen for the whole entirety of this 3.1 second clip. You don't need to go ahead and change the timing of it. It appears on the screen for the whole clip. The letters just come in and out at their own timing. So let's go ahead and let's play this clip and let's make sure everything looks exactly how we want. Yep. So that's the first part of our intro clip. We got through that really quickly, and now we're going to move on to the second part. And I'm just going to go down here and click the plus sign to add a page. Once you add your page, you want to change the length of this clip. So right now you can see it says 5.0 seconds. We want to make it a little longer and we want to increase it to 7.3 seconds. So you click the outside of this box. As you can see, it's highlighted in purple, and you just want to drag it out to the right until you get 7.3 seconds. And as I said, this part can take a little bit more timing just to make sure you get it to the exact timing that you want. Alright, so for this clip, we used a 3-grid photo frame. So we're going to go back in, grid is already up, so we don't have to go and retype that, and we'll click this 3-grid photo frame. Only for this one, we are going to change the spacing. I don't want any of the background to show, but I am going to change the color of this first, and I'm going to choose a light gray color because I like the way the red looked against that instead of the white. So now that we have our color in place, we're going to click the corner and make sure all 4 corners are highlighted. And now we're going to go up here to spacing, and we're going to just take the spacing all the way to 0. So as you can see, there's no spacing gaps in between the picture grids. And now we're going to add in our photos. So let's scroll down because I already have them uploaded. And let's find the photo that we're looking for. So we use this photo for all 3 frames. And just want to make sure you adjust it a little bit to your liking. It's up to you of how you adjust it. Just be aware with photos that you use. You might not like how it looks in this grid. So just play around with different photos of yourself until you like the look of it. Alright, I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to click the corner of the boxes again. and I'm going to add animation to all 3 photos, and it's the same, and they all use Photorize. And I didn't change any of those default settings. They stayed the same on the screen. So now, let's see. I'm just making sure that I'm including everything in here. Okay, so the photos, let's make sure we go back to this slide. And I just want to make sure that I'm including all the accurate information. So show timing. Okay, so these last from the beginning to about, let's see, so like that 5.3 second mark. All right, so we have our photos highlighted already, as you can see, the 4 corners. And now I'm going to right click and click show timing again. And we're going to adjust this bar by pulling it in to the left. And we're going to stop at about, let me make sure. So we started from the beginning at 3.2 seconds. And we're going to make sure, okay, this is a little too long. So we're going to decrease it again. And it's okay if you have to play with it until you get it how exactly you want it to look. Still a little bit too long. Decrease it again. And as you can see, this is probably the most tedious part of this, just adjusting the timing to the exact timing that you want, so you're not making sure that it doesn't overlap with anything else. Okay, that's fine. 5.1 seconds. We'll just keep it like that, no big deal. So our photos are done. We have our grid, we have our photos, we have our animation, and we have the timing. So now I'm just going to slide this down, and I'm going to lock it so I don't have to worry about shifting it anymore or messing up the settings when I go and add my other text. So now we have Malibu ring text up again, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust this font. 1 second, I'm just viewing my notes to make sure that I change it to the right size. So for the sizing of this font, it is 68.4. Move it up a tad bit. There we go. And I'm going to change the color to our red color that we used for our initials. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in girl lifestyle. I think I'm going to bring it up a little bit more. There we go. So we have our It Girl lifestyle. And now I'm going to add animation to that. And I believe I used typewriter. Yeah. Sorry, I'm referring back to my notes because I want to make sure that it is on the right setting. So we have our It Girl lifestyle, and now we're going to go ahead and our subscribe button before we adjust the timing of this element. So go to element and we're going to type subscribe. And we use this first button. And we're just going to decrease the sizing until we get the sizing that we want. Again, you can use whatever sizing that you want. I'm just making sure that I show you the exact steps that I did for the template. Alright, kind of want to make sure it's more like aligned with the middle of the text and not with the middle of the page. I feel like it's a little too big. Alright, there we go. So let me make sure that I didn't have any animation on this. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and highlight both of these elements. and we're going to adjust the timing. And for this part of the video, it started at 5.6 seconds. So we're going to drag this in. Actually, I might start a little sooner than that because I think, yeah, let's make this. I'm just playing with it until it looks exactly how I want it to look. So as you can see, when you move this toggle bar, it's showing you like the photos and then they're fading away, and then that's when you want your text. So the photos stop here, so I'm going to make sure I increase the length now just so it's not much of a gap between the photos and our It Girl lifestyle. There we go. I do want to make sure I didn't have any animation to our subscribe button. Okay, just wanted to double check that. Alright, so now we have that done. I feel like I want to move these down some now. Again, it's up to you where to place it. Now we're going to unlock our photo grid. So we're just going to go up here and click the lock. And then we're going to drag this back into place. And we want to make sure it fits the entire frame of this slide. And as you can see right now that the It Girl lifestyle and the subscribe button is showing, which is fine because this is going to disappear off the screen anyway, and then these items will come up on their own, so it's not interfering with the look of anything, so we don't have to worry about that. And it's also easier for when you go in and edit your template, you can see exactly what's on the screen, because as you can see for the original slide, you don't see, like when you click the outside of the box, well, that's the beginning, you don't see that red text and that subscribe button there. So it will make it a little bit more difficult for you to realize, like, oh, it's something else on the screen that I have to go in and customize, even though you can move this frame around until you find, you know, those other elements. But for the purpose of this template, I am just going to keep these elements on the screen so that way it's just easier for you guys to see it. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to play this clip from the beginning and make sure that everything looks how we want. And you can always go in and adjust it. Let's press play. Our photos come in, they disappear, and now we have our It Girl lifestyle and subscribe button element. Perfect. So we have this setting totally complete on this page. Also, if you want, you can decrease the second page. You can make it longer. I probably should have decreased it just so it wasn't so long since I don't have many elements popping up on the screen, but it's fine. So now we're going to go into our third page and we're going to click add page, and this our third page is our outro, and I am going to include that in this tutorial as well, even though it's pretty straightforward, but just in case you never created one, you might want a little bit more help, and I don't have a problem with that. So our blank screen comes up and I'm going to click R on my laptop and it will bring up a box. We're going to change the color to black. We don't want that orange color. And we're going to kind of adjust the shape of it to a rectangle. Again, it might not be completely accurate to the second one. To the original demo, but that's okay. This is the point of this tutorial, is just showing you that you can make the adjustment that you want to look how you want it to look. So we have our first box and we're going to go ahead and duplicate it, and then we are going to bring over, I think I'm going to do it like that. So as you can see, this purple frame going around our boxes. I just wanted to make sure that they're aligned to the edge of the box. Alright, so they're aligned evenly, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our photo frame that you saw in the middle. So we're going to go to Elements, and we're going to click on Frame. And then we're going to use this circle frame. We're going to adjust the sizing. And we want to place that right in the middle. And then we're going to add, I feel like I can do a little bit bigger since I feel like the boxes are a little bit smaller than I used in the original one, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. And a lot of people get confused with the template and wonder why why I might have like boxes or outline frames. And it's just for once someone purchased this template or any other template I have in my shop, so that they use these boxes as a guide to know where they would place their other videos in this frame. Like the sizing, they just know exactly where to place it so it's not interfering with any other element on the screen. Okay, so let's add in our picture. And for this picture, I used the same photo as I did with the second slide of our intro. There you go. And you can also double click it and adjust it a little bit how you want it to look. I think I'm going to go a little bit bigger for this, just because the boxes, like I said, are a little bit smaller than what I used in the original. Oops. Let's go ahead and delete that. Click on text, and we're going to go to our Libre Baskerville text, and we're going to align it with the center of the box, and we're going to go full uppercase, and we're just going to put in watch this. So again, this is where you'll put one of your previous videos that you want your subscribers to watch after they finish watching the current one. And then you'll do the same thing over here. So they are both aligned. And then a tip on how you make sure that the items that you want are aligned and measure up correctly. You want to highlight both of them, and you want to go up here and you want to click position, and then you want to click, it usually will say tidy up if they're unaligned, but since they're aligned, you don't need, it doesn't have the tidy up option. So for instance, let me shift this up a little bit, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to click both of these by holding down the shift key button, and I'm going to go to position. Oh, and it's still not coming up. That's weird. Maybe because it's not directly underneath. But anyways, you get the point. You get the point. So we have that set. And then now we're going to, let me just make sure, because I feel like I'm missing something. And I want to make sure I'm showing you guys exactly what I did. Okay, so now we're going to go in with our other text box, and we're going to change this to Malibu Ring. And I believe the sizing of this was 30, yes. So hold on with that, and we're going to type in follow me. So as you can see, it says follow me at Elliot J on all platforms. You can, if you wanted to use social media icons instead of putting this, that's fine. But if your username or handle is the same on all your profiles, you can just keep something simple like this instead of adding that extra clutter. And we want the outro to be really simple and quick, straight to the point, so that if people do stop and want to look at the outro and want to see what other videos you have included in your outro, so they can click on another video and watch it right away, then that's why we want to make sure that we include the outro. But realistically, a lot of people aren't really looking at the outro. They're just watching the content, and as soon as it's done, they're clicking off. So that's why it's best that you make your outro as simple as possible, at least in my opinion, because as a viewer, I know I never really stop and look at the outro unless I'm curious to see if the person I'm watching, they said they included one of their most popular videos at the end of the video, so you can go ahead and watch that. They linked it, so then I'm waiting on that. But I'm not really looking at the outro. I mean, to each their own, but I'm just coming from a perspective of someone who views YouTube videos a lot. Like, I just don't really view the outro. So, you want to make it cute but simple. So, we have that. Okay. So, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in our secondary text. Make sure that's in the center. And change the color to red. And then we're just going to go ahead and put like, comment, subscribe. So as you can see, our outro is very simple, very easy. Did I add in any animations? Just looking at my notes, guys. So the only animation I added was for this text box, and that was typewriter. And you don't have to worry about adjusting any of the timing of these elements because they last throughout this whole entire clip. Nothing pops up at its own timing or anything like that. So that was very simple. Outro is always a lot easier to create than the intro because it's more simple and straight to the point, whereas with your intro, you're adding in photos and all different kinds of elements. So we're going to play this from the beginning and just make sure everything is correct. All right, and there's the outro. And everything is good, everything is correct, everything looks ready to go. And one last tip I want to give is that when you go to download your intro and outro, you obviously want to download it as an MP4 video so you keep your animations and your effects and things of that nature. But right now you can see that all 3 pages are selected. You don't want to download them all at once. So let's click on that. You will download page 1 by itself. You can download page 1 and 2 actually together because they're both your intro clip, but obviously you want to download your outro clip separately so that you can add it into your video at the timing you want when you're in your editing platform and you're ready to upload a new video to YouTube. So obviously you want your outro to be last after your video instead of in the beginning with your intro clips. So guys, I really hope this tutorial was helpful. This is my first tutorial. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on some things or you just didn't understand some things that I should have explained better. Please bear with me. Please leave your likes and your comments down below on anything else you want to see from me. Any more questions that you may have that I didn't provide enough information for, please just let me know down below. Like I said, this is my first tutorial and I'm so excited to do more. So please be kind and bear with me if I could have did better on this one. We're all learning here and I'm here to just show you guys what I know and share that with you. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please give me a like, a comment, a subscribe if you like, and I'll be back with more. Thank you guys so much.